Hey everyone, it's Maritza of the Sybil Heart, and welcome back, I guess. Sorry about the previous video. I didn't mean to ramble on for so long, but I'm going to blame it on Mercury retrograde, because we're about to transition from Mercury retrograde to Mercury direct, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, but first, I am available for readings. You can click on the link that I have provided below, which will take you to a link, which will take you to it'll take you to a page with all of the available links that I have. And there you can request a reading, you can schedule a reading, you can take a look at all of my other content, and the other thing I wanted to mention is that my tarot readings are all free. So if someone contacts you who looks like me or has a name that looks similar to mine, and they ask you for money, please be aware that that is not me. I will not do that ever. And yeah, so just be aware of who you're talking to. I don't know how rampant that problem is still, but just know that my readings are free, and if anyone comes up to you and says, "I'm Sybil Hart," or whatever it is that they say, it's not. They are not who they say they are. Okay. So, Mercury retrograde. So one of the things about Mercury retrograde is that it's a time of, it's not that Mercury retrograde causes problems of communication, it just has the energy to influence it. And one way that manifests is people become blabbermouths, or they just can't stop talking, and so they say things that they didn't mean to, or they shouldn't have, or whatever. Or like they just say stuff to say stuff. So I guess that's one way to look at Mercury retrograde. So when we look at Mercury going direct, and it's going direct in the sign of Scorpio, we want to consider what we're saying and have our words actually mean something. Mercury direct in Scorpio is a time of having or revisiting conversations that, what did I write? I wrote something. My notes? Oh, they are conversations of the deep heart. So these are conversations that are meaningful, that are deeply felt. And they can be really, really hard. Another thing I want to mention is that for some of us, this is going to become a time of deep exploration. What did I write? Exploration of deeper meaning. So you're going to start exploring things that you probably wouldn't usually consider, but there's some energy to it, and you want to explore why that is. For example, I am incredibly interested in dreams, and I am currently relearning how to interpret them, because the first time I learned how to, there was a lot of stuff I didn't understand, and I was like, the way that my dreams were interpreted back then, I was just regurgitating words and terms that I didn't fully understand, and I still don't, but in studying all of the courses that I've been taking over the years, I feel like I've begun to understand a little bit better, and so my dream interpretations have become more meaningful with deeper insight. So that's just an example of what I mean. And Scorpio is about exploring, I'm going to call them these deeper mysteries, and to which that to me means exploring things that you're really curious about, and that are possibly not things that you would normally be interested in, but for some reason it just holds a lot of energy for you, and so you just keep pulling at the thread, and it just keeps taking you further and further in. So yeah, that is Mercury going direct in Scorpio. That can possibly be the energy that manifests for you during this time. So with that being said, and the moon will go from Pisces to Aries. So, things are going to be a lot more energetic, especially things that pertain to the moon, like emotions and feelings and motivation, or maybe not, that's Mars. Goals, any goals that you feel very, that you've attached emotionally to, like you've put a lot of feeling into them. What else? Yeah, okay, I think that's pretty much it, and I will just get into the reading. Sorry, I kept blabbing on. Okay. What message do you have for us? Message do you have for us? Okay, we have the Four of Wands, the Ten of Swords, and the Moon reversed. Okay, so okay. So here's the story that I'm seeing play out in the cards. Some of you may connect to this, and some of you obviously may not. So what I'm seeing is a home, a family, and this relationship has been, I'm going to say, in trouble, in quotes, for a while, due to some kind of misunderstanding. Also, for some reason, the word jealousy keeps coming up, so there's feelings of jealousy or competitiveness for some reason keeps coming up too. And if this family or the people involved do not communicate, then it will break. So I'm seeing the Four of Wands and the Moon reversed, and I'm thinking the dust needs to be cleared away. Like, the relationship is dusty, and it needs to be cleansed, reinvigorated. And I feel like the Ten of Swords is a warning rather than what's actually happening. Like, the Ten of Swords in this case represents the breaking of the relationship because no one is trying to make the effort to understand or clear things up. And of course, it's because people have been hurt emotionally, and it just feels like there's no recovering from this. But that's an illusion. Like, there's no, like, that's a lie that you all are telling yourselves. Relationships can always recover. You just have to, well, I should say they can recover and become something different than it was before, because it's going to have to be different after whatever happened. But it doesn't mean that you have to cut ties with the other person. You're definitely going to see them differently. Maybe this has changed things, but Um, but the effort has to be made from one or both or all parties. And right now, I'm seeing that that's not happening. Something big, emotionally big, is blocking everyone from communicating. And it's not just Mercury retrograde. Then we have the Five of Wands reversed. So the Five of Wands is a bunch of people hitting each other with sticks. Or wands, rather. When it's reversed, it makes me think that these wands are being laid down. So people are ready to be peaceful. But we also have to be careful in not letting our feelings get in the way of clear communication. So the conversation can begin peacefully, but it can also get heated very quickly, because it's really hard to keep our emotions in check, right? Especially when we are feeling things deeply. Then we have the Three of Cups reversed. So okay. Three of Cups reversed is okay, so it's making me think of the movie Mean Girls. So people are being hurtful to have power over the other, is what I'm thinking. So we have to be careful not to do that. I mean, this is not something that is about power. It's not about playing with people's emotions or hearts. But there could be someone involved that is doing that is, like, if you look at them carefully, like, you can see the clues that they're essentially trying to make a power play. They're trying to appear as the, quote, stronger person. So this could be one of the main reasons that people are not connecting with each other, whoever's involved. Because it's either they don't want to act first because it's being seen by them as surrendering, and possibly you don't want to act first because you feel it's the other person's responsibility to start the conversation for some reason. Excuse me. I've actually never seen the Three of Cups in that way, and for some reason it's like surprising me. It's taking me by surprise. So yeah, this is an example of emotions getting in the way. This is an example of a feeling of, I don't know, pride, I guess, getting in the way of letting this relationship become what it needs to become after this event, let's say. Then we have the Queen of Wands, who's very, so the Queen of Wands is very bright, like at the center of attention. They love attention. They love being in the spotlight. So it's a very Leo, very fiery trait. Sagittarius does that too. Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Aries, a little bit, not so much, but I mean, for my personal experience of Aries people, they do like attention, but they don't seek it out. It's just something that is a result of whatever they're doing. But I think Sagittarius and Leo especially, those two signs do seek out attention. And I'm talking about fire signs because that's the element of the Suit of Wands, and this is the Queen of Wands. Sometimes I like to describe the Queen of Wands as Lady Gaga. Or even Beyonce. They're very attention. Well, Lady Gaga, I think more so than Beyonce. Anyway, I'm gonna get carried away with celebrity stuff, but yeah. So when we see the Queen of Wands in this situation, I want to think about the person that this situation seems to be revolving around. Let's see. Or it can also be the situation itself could be revolving around a theme of like the words that keep popping into my head are heated drama. So it's like, I don't know. So it's Mean Girls and then Gossip Girls. So okay. So it's just a lot of drama. Everyone's being dramatic for some reason. Alright, so then we have the Fool reversed. So one way to interpret the Fool reversed is he's fallen off the cliff, right? When he's upright, he's walking along the cliff. He's taking this huge risk, making this very big risky movement. But when he's reversed, it could be read as he's fallen off the cliff. He wasn't careful enough, or he just made a stupid move. Or it can also be interpreted as he actually realized that this was a stupid, risky thing walking along the cliff, and he's backing away. He's climbing back down the mountain, and he's going home. Like, he's done with this risky life. And I'm seeing in the spread I have out here, the Fool rests under the Four of Wands. Well, not directly under it. It's the Four of Wands, the Five of Wands, and then the Fool card in a column. So it looks like the Fool is actually heading home. They're gonna have a little bit of trouble going back home, but it's nothing that can't be discussed or fixed or mitigated in some other way. So for the situation itself, I'm thinking some of you are going to call it quits with this, whatever the situation is, whatever this relationship is. I'm also thinking it's totally one-sided. Like, one person is making more effort than the other, and the other person no longer wants anything to do with whatever's going on. It's just they're fed up and they want to protect their peace, I guess, is one way to look at it. The other way is that they just don't want to face the music. They don't want to have any conflict in their life, protecting their peace, right? But what's happening then at that point is they are not growing. They are not learning what they are possibly doing wrong, I guess. So they've kind of put themselves in this little chamber where they are always right. And so not having conflict or avoiding conflict is causing them to believe, oh yeah, this thing I'm doing, it's right. Or the way that I'm handling this relationship is right. But really what's happening is they're not hearing the other person. They're not letting the other person sort of prove to them how they're doing things in a way that is wrong. Or another way to look at that is they're not listening to how they are hurting the other person. So they're continuing the behaviors that are causing emotional damage to the people around them, because they're putting themselves in this little chamber that helps them avoid conflict and echoes back, yes, you're right in doing this. And maybe that's the reason why the Fool is going home, is to have a space where they know that they're going to be right 90% of the time, because they're not listening to the other people around them. And this behavior, whatever it is going to continue. And so it's going to, they're not going to intend to isolate themselves, but it's going to happen. Because people are going to start noticing, like, oh, this person does not want to hear my side, does not want to hear how they are hurting or hurting me or you or whoever, and like there's no effort being made in interpersonal growth. I hope I'm using that term right. So like the growth that comes to relationships oftentimes through conflict, right? Like, or uncomfortable moments. And then we have the Seven of Wands reversed. Here I'm seeing that you, all of you, the situation, everything, they're playing the victim, but they also feel like they are the victim. So it's not a fake play. It's, from their part, it's totally, they feel like it's genuine, right? So from the outside, it does look like a fake play. That they're just playing the victim to get sympathy points or to have some sort of twisted power over others. But my eyes keep going to the moon reversed, and I'm thinking this playing the victim card is starting to break. The illusion is starting to break, because ultimately that's what it is, right? I'm also seeing the Queen of Wands, and it's like she's shining a light on the situation to help everyone see that it's not, things are not what they seem, right? And that they are not what they seem because people are not communicating. And I know the Queen of Wands is one of the more prideful queens, but I feel like in this case she's saying, you guys have to start swallowing that pride and start communicating from the heart, or a place of truth, because that's the only way that you're going to grow. That's the only way that this relationship is going to get stronger and better, and it will no longer stay stuck where it is right now, because there's some movement. Then we have the Seven of Swords. This is another card where there's like some kind of, I keep wanting to say the word malicious. There's a malicious power play. You want to have, maybe you don't realize it, maybe it's an unconscious feeling. You want to feel powerful in the situation for whatever reason. And whatever it is, it's being, you think you're coming from a good place, but it's being seen and interpreted and received as disingenuous, and, or what's, maybe the word is disingenuine. I'm gonna go with disingenuous. And you want to take, so the only way that you can feel powerful is you need to take power away from people. And you're not, there is a way where you can do this without taking power away from people. But for whatever reason, this situation is making you feel, maybe it's not you, maybe it's someone else, right? But I'm just going to continue saying you. This situation has you all twisted up, and you can't really see beyond your own needs, like, and that's what's happening. That's what's happening for everyone in this situation involved. Like, everyone involved wants to feel like they are in control, and the other person is not. They're the irrational one, not them. And I definitely feel like the Seven of Swords is here to say things are getting twisted, or being blown out of proportion, or there's a sense of like, you're, again, like I was saying before, like someone or you are not seeing the other person's point of view, or you're not listening to them because you, maybe on a unconscious level, or you already know this, you don't want to face the music. You don't want to feel like you were wrong. Or you don't want to feel like you hurt a person's feelings. So you're kind of hiding yourself away. And the bottom of the deck is the Five of Swords, reversed. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I haven't eaten breakfast yet. So the Five of Swords is the Five of Swords reversed. We want to think about what I'm thinking about is, or what's coming up, the phrase that's coming up is, it's an incomplete phrase, but it's saying, how do I return to ba-ba-da-ba-da? What I'm thinking is, how do I return to this relationship? And I think what the Five of Swords is saying is, you're gonna have to face the music. I'm so sorry. My stumpy is rumbly. But you don't have to, quote, rip off the band-aid all at once. Right? You can do this slowly. You can return to the situation or the relationship if you want. But if you stay, you need to understand that you're going to, one, not have any growth and be stuck in the same situation until you realize that that's what you're doing. And two, people are going to start distancing themselves from you because you're not making an effort to listen to their side, because you don't like conflict or whatever it is. That's just something I'm like sticking to through this situation, but it could be any form of that. Yeah, so I think the Five of Swords is here to say that you need to hold yourself accountable. I should be saying we all need to hold ourselves accountable in not just letting ourselves be heard through whatever challenges or situations, but we also need to, and I feel like this needs to be underlined and emphasized, is we also need to hold ourselves accountable to being open to hearing other people's perspectives, and not. I mean, we can still feel our feelings, but we need to try really hard not to get those feelings in the way of listening, right? Oh man, I lost my train of thought. The other thing is, with accountability, like, usually it's about having other people hold us accountable to something, but we also need to hold ourselves accountable, or we need to start holding ourselves accountable for other things, for things that we say or do, or if someone brings up if someone brings up that we hurt them with our words or our actions or whatever, then we need to step up and say, oh my gosh, like, what can I do different, or what? No, it's not just an apology, right? It's like, you have to learn what you did wrong, or how you hurt, or how you hurt the other person or people involved, and do your best to learn from that and realize that it was hurtful. It was a thing you did that hurt others. And like step up and take responsibility for it, is what I'll say. It's not just that other people are holding you accountable for it. You need to hold yourself accountable for whatever the situation is. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a better sign of growth and maturity, is holding yourself accountable for whatever, instead of relying on others to point things out to you, if that makes sense. Self-awareness. That's what I'm thinking of, I think. Which is Queen of Wands, I feel like, is pointing towards that. So is the moon reversed. They're shining a light on your self-awareness. Okay. Well, that is the reading, and I will... Oh, no, wait, hold on. For those of you who like this part, I'm going to point out all the astrology stuff. We have the moon with the moon card reversed. We want to think about the waning moon phase, because it's reversed. So either the previous or the upcoming waning moon phase, this could be the situation it's talking about that has happened or will happen. With the Queen of Wands, we have fire signs: Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. The Fool reversed, we have Uranus in retrograde, which that's going to be like, I like to think about Uranus in retrograde as like a time when we let things possess our personality. So like, for example, sometimes I get carried away in talking about my Jungian studies and my interest in dream interpretation. Sometimes it becomes part of my whole person, like it's just my entire personality, and yeah, like stuff like that. That's Uranus in retrograde. And that's it. That's all the astrology. Okay, now I'm leaving. All right, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, etc. Thank you. Bye.